maintaining work plane illuminance is through articulated architecture. Now, the English understood this very well way back when daylighting design was standard practice, when people didn't have a lot of electricity for lighting. But we kind of lost this kind of capability. Architects really understood this a long time ago, but we lost this understanding. And they don't teach us anymore, or not until recently, in architecture schools. This is the kind of shapes that we should be having in our buildings with this kind of articulated form known as clear-story design. You can really maintain maximum distribution across your space with daylight. With this kind of building form, you don't need electric lighting during the day. We've lost this art. In other words, there's, and at a maximum, you'll find maybe 1 or 2 days in an engineering degree or an architecture degree in which you'll actually see this. And what we should be doing is we should be talking about this all year long in an architecture school. Okay. So this is sort of showing another view of sort of the attempt here in school design to actually maximize the distribution of light with light shells. And the same thing occurs with these clear stories, is that instead of the light all sort of dropping off at the window, it actually can be relatively even throughout the space by having this well-articulated kind of architecture. Okay. This is a library where there's almost no electric lights on. These are all clear stories and windows bring light deep inside the space. Okay. And so skylights are what I look at them as sort of as a modular clear story. These are smaller units. They can either be part of the building process or they can actually be a product that gets added on to the building. And again, these things can be very effective at providing a very wide distribution of light throughout the space. Okay. And I look at these like light fixtures. It's sort of like, when we look at this, it's a normal luminaire light fixture that instead of having an electric light source, it has a daylight source. And you could treat it in the same manner, and you can put these anywhere inside a space to even out the illuminance so that your whole room space is well daylit. And the idea here is that a relatively small square footage of your roof can be dedicated to skylights, a few percent, and it still maintains a relatively good daylight distribution throughout the whole space. Now, some lighting designers have said, we don't like this modulation up and down. When we do electric lighting, it's absolutely smooth. Actually, people like this. They like the variability of daylight, the fact that it goes a little bit brighter, a little bit darker. Actually, they like that. Okay. This is getting used a lot more inside spaces, particularly in shopping and grocery. And I talked about this earlier. Daylight has excellent color characteristics. The one place where you want excellent color is in grocery stores or in food stores where you've got fruits, vegetables, etc. You want things to look good. Okay? So people like this, and there's a lot more retailers now exploring the use of daylight in order for, one, people to be happy, and for the produce to look good. Okay. So again, clear stories and skylights, there's opportunities for these things to also minimize heat issues. If you have flat skylights and flat glass, it's going to be very susceptible to heat issues in hot climates. And it could be that clear stories offer a more effective geometry in hot climates, because you can minimize the solar penetration when you don't need it. Okay. Atrium, the Romans worked with atriums, okay? And the Europeans, a very familiar concept. So in North America, we forgot about atriums, okay? Now they're coming back. And a lot of use. I look at atrium as an extended skylight, okay? And great application of this inside public spaces. Okay. One area where we're starting to see a lot of people focus on is what are called daylight shafts. And daylight shafts, to me, are a hybrid between a skylight and an atrium. And what they are large sort of channels that go deep inside a building, to allow daylight inside the space. And actually, this has been done for a long period of time. In the Middle East, they were doing a lot of this for ventilation work, with the idea of these deep shafts going inside spaces and using passive cooling. This was exported to Europe with the idea that when we didn't have electric light sources, and building large buildings and then channeling light deep inside a space using these shafts. Okay. Now these shafts get walled with